Here, my name is George Mahaltzis. I'm the library's Vice President for Government and Community Affairs. I know that many of you have been waiting for this project for many years, and we're really excited that it's moving along and it's going to be better than we could have ever imagined. And we, of course, believe that this project will have a real positive impact on the Roosevelt Island community. We last met, I think, as a community about a year ago, and at that meeting we heard your feedback about what programs and services you would like to see at the new branch, and we know that your input is crucial to the success of this project. Joining me from the library are Risa Honig, our VP for Capital Planning and Construction, Nora Yaya, who is also from the Government and Community Affairs Office, Nicole Nelson, who you all know, she is the representative, and Christopher Platt, who is our, cheering is allowed. And Christopher Platt, who is our Vice President for Public Service. Of course, this project would not have been possible without the support of our elected officials and also of RIAC, who we're working very closely with on this. The total funding for the project is approximately $7.5 million and is being provided by the City Council, $5.5 million, the Borough President, $1.2 million, and the Mayor, $720,000. BP Brewer, Councilmember Kalos, as well as their predecessors, BP Stringer, who is now the controller, as well as Councilmember Jessica Lappin, huge supporters of this project. That's where, as you can see, most of the funding has come from, as well as BP Brewer and Councilmember Kalos. And we expect both the Borough President and the Council member to join us at some point tonight. And once they do, we'll let them say a few words as well. By way of background, the library is one of 3 independent public library systems operating in New York City. There are 2 other systems, the Brooklyn Public Library and the Queens Library. Through its 90 locations, the NYPL provides the branch services for Staten Island, Manhattan, and the Bronx, as well as the research services for the entire city. The Roosevelt Island Library, by way of history, became part of the NYPL system in 1998. At that time, it was the NYPL's 85th branch. But the history of the library is significantly longer than that. Its story began in 1976 when it was founded and run as a community library by Roosevelt Islanders, for Roosevelt Islanders, and it ran that way until 1998. We do know that the people of Roosevelt Island love their library. In fiscal year 15, the library experienced nearly 88,000 visits. And the most important thing to grab from that, 88,000 visits, the island, somewhere near 11,500, 12,000 residents, but 88,000 times this past year, somebody passed through those doors of that library there. Again, what we'd like to do tonight is provide an update on the project, as well as an overview of the community survey results and an overview of the branch programs. And we, of course, appreciate your being here tonight and also really appreciate your support of the library. And with that, I'd like to now introduce Christopher Platt again, our Vice President for Public Service. For library services, who will talk about the survey results.
Yeah, thank you, George. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And again, it is a pleasure to be back here again. We were here a little over a year ago, and what we said at that meeting was that we would also solicit further information from the community through an online survey, through a survey in the kiosk, in the library, and then through paper surveys. And we actually got quite a robust response during that survey. 456 respondents, which is for this population is pretty darn good. All but 9 of the respondents use the library regularly, so the input and the response to the questions is really meaningful. I will also just echo George's comments and acknowledge the hard work of Nicole and the library team who are here today. This is a community where 44% of the people on this island have a library card and actively use it. And that's, again, pretty darn good. I'd like it to be 100%, but this new library will help us get in that direction. I did want to share with you some of the information we found out from the public survey. Some of it's up here on the screen behind me. Of course, some of it is going to be very obvious. Access to books, information, and expert librarians, traditional librarianship. But here's some more important stuff. We heard this loud and clear both in the last time we were here in person and in the surveys. Programs for children and teens, as well as program space for children's and teens. We're kind of sitting on top of each other inside of the current branch, and so this is going to give us an opportunity to make some changes there. And of course, with 30% of the survey respondents are parents themselves, it was obvious that this was going to come out. Exhibitions and lectures is something we are taking to heart and something we would like to come back and talk to you more about when we get closer to opening and actually doing the programming. What types of programs and lectures and displays and exhibits would resonate most with the community here. Because we will have facility for doing that, which is also great. And then of course, access to public computers and technology is loud and clear. And space to research, write, study, and learn new skills is important. So that's what the respondents wanted in their library. We also asked if you'll remember some questions about what you want for your community library, and sometimes you can suss out some different things that way. Access to technology, free public computers and Wi-Fi is hugely important. And this is a consistent question or a consistent answer we hear across the city. So no surprises here. Again, a larger and separate children's area, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. A dedicated children's area as well, so that there can be some quiet spaces versus some, rambunctious spaces. The third choice that people thought was most important for their community was convenience. So grab and go was a popular idea, where people who are on their way to or from the tram or the F train can pop in and pop back out, pick up their holds, return a book, that sort of thing. We also asked people to write in responses or to share things that we didn't ask explicitly about. And again, a community room, a meeting space for people to come and gather, which speaks to the program needs for children and teens. It also speaks to the exhibits and lectures requests. So again, we're happy to share what we're about to with you on that. Quiet spaces again. And then we did ask a little bit about the collections. Collections will be much larger there. It's not going to be a huge branch collection, but it's going to allow us to provide a more robust assortment of materials. And what we heard are a wider selection of DVDs, a broader selection of world languages, which again speaks to the diversity of the island, which we're well familiar with, more access to e-resources, and then as well more newspapers and magazines, which I thought was an interesting response. But that in the case of people coming in to sit and read, keep up to date with newspapers and current events. So it was, again, a very robust response. I want to thank you for that. We will come back and ask some more specific questions about programming when we do get closer to opening, when we have the space more solid. We'll also say that what was interesting for us as a library about this, you guys were our first survey. We've since done this for Charleston Library on Staten Island, which will be opening in a few years. We're renovating the Woodlawn Heights Library in the Bronx, and we're building a new library for Westchester Square in the Bronx, and we use this method to ask those communities what was important to them as well. Believe it or not, fairly new for the New York Public Library to get out and ask questions and get responses from people. So this was also good for us because it was a first step in a learning process about how to engage community and keep that conversation going over time. Not a little bit challenging when, we'll talk about timeline in a minute, but this process started a long time ago, and the branch will open out here a little bit, but keeping the conversational line of communication robust and active, it needs to be managed as an organization very carefully. So we're learning a lot from that as well. I think that's probably enough for now, because what we'll color this is when you actually see the layout of the library, and we can talk more about that.
Yeah, so we can do the presentation, and then we'll take any questions and answer your comments as well. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm fairly new to the library. I started in April, and I was delighted that this is actually the first project I got when I started, and it's really going to be great. So this is the existing library, as you know, and we are really suffering because we don't have much space to do all the programs and accommodate all the patrons that we would like to accommodate. We currently, as you know, the children's area is an area, it's not separated, and just there's a lot of books and not a lot of room for people. The new site. I think that many of you are probably familiar where that location is. It is right adjacent to the bus stop, so maybe if we could, we should probably switch seats. Okay, we're gonna switch seats. Okay, that's much better. So we're going to be located on the lower level of the two-story building. It's adjacent to the bus stop. It's a prominent location for us on Roosevelt Island, and it has lovely views of, you can see the river and exterior, and we're very happy to be able to do that. Now I'm just going to do one thing. So we are now going to move the entrance to the corner of the building. This is the existing building as we know it, and that's going to be our new entrance. We're going to have a bench right by the bus stop. We're going to be able to really note that it's the New York Public Library, and it's going to have a lot of glass so people can see in and what's going on, and we're really happy about that. We also are going to be fully accessible, so there will be a ramp going into the entry. It won't even really feel like a ramp, it's just the sidewalk will be appropriately sloped. And that's just another view. And it will also be great for people with strollers, and there will be room for stroller parking as well. So, inside the space. So we were, given the space, it was kind of a little bit of a challenging shape. That's the existing space that we got. And I will say that this is about 5,400 square feet, and the existing library is 2,200 square feet. So we're more than double in size, which is fantastic for us. So let me just see if you can see. Yeah, so that's, so you enter right there on the corner entry, and it's a vestibule entry, and as you come into the library, you have your welcome desk and circulation right up front, so the grab and go is convenient. Also, there will be room for people to leave their stroller, so we don't have to worry about strollers going throughout the library and sort of taking up valuable patron area. Also, close to the entrance, there will be an area for display of whether it's artifacts, information about the island. There will also be the periodical area right close to the entry, and also what we have here is a community room, which will be fully enclosed for meetings. It also can be opened for additional patron space during library hours, so it becomes a lovely reading room. The community room would hold up to 33 people in auditorium style seating, so it's a really nice feature for us to have, and I think that I can safely say in all of our branches there's been a real need for a community space and a community room, so we can really be part of what's going on, and we could host events if you need them, or meetings such as this one. So next time we meet, hopefully I'm all over it. So it's just basically a very open space, and we work extremely closely with Nicole to make sure that she got everything she needs, and she was really instructive in telling us where to locate the teen area, which is right here, general reading, and then we have our children's area. All the rooms are filled with light, filled with daylight, great views, and what's really nice is our children's area, we're able to close it off. We're going to have a door so the children could be children and make lots of noise if they need to make noise, and everyone else could do what they need to do. There's also Obviously, there are restrooms in the library, and I'm sorry, again, that little arrow thing is not coming up. But the restrooms are in the top of the plan. It's like shaded in area, and then at the very end is staff space. So every now and then we get to give Nicole a little break, and she can go have her lunch. So that's essentially the layout. We think that it really worked out nicely for our needs. I will say that the children's room is about 640 square feet. There will be an increase of PCs from, currently we have 3, we will now have 16. And laptops, we currently have 11, and we will increase that number to 24. So we are more than doubling our technology for our patrons. So we're really excited about that. I don't know if any of you peeked in some of the windows, but that's the existing space. And what we're looking to do is really take advantage of the existing space, which is somewhat historic. I mean, I don't have to tell you that Roosevelt Island is a special place, and this was one of the buildings done by Jose Luis Sert. And we are trying to sort of enhance the waffle ceiling and have lighting in the ceiling that will really play off the architecture. We're also keeping all the sight lines very open, so the space can be properly managed, and we could really take advantage of sort of the vista. And that's just another view of the space, giving you a sense of sort of how the shelving works to separate areas and create like sort of smaller seating areas, smaller study areas, but still keep it a nice open space. So that's pretty much the design, and what we're looking at is the design phase will end this summer, so summer 2016. Construction will start in fall 2016, and then we are planning for opening late 2017, early 2018. So that's where we are. I know it took a while to get here, but it's going to be really wonderful, and we're very excited about it. And I'm sorry, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the architects are Smith Miller Hawkinson, and that's a firm that was selected and is being managed through DBC, who is our partner in construction for many of our projects, and they've been terrific. I think some of you might have met them, maybe they've been to other REOC meetings, but they're really been wonderful to work with, and we're really excited. So that's where we are, and these are some facts about
Nicole.
Nicole, go for it.